Well, we're in my little backroom shop looking at my really wonderful drill press. I needed to drill, not this, but something round, and I needed to line it up on the center. By the way, this is just a billet that I had turned down from a rough casting. Anyway, so I'd see, I don't have a good drilling vise, and I'd seen some V-blocks, I guess you'd call them. So I thought I'd cut up a hunk of angle iron and make a V-block for drilling round objects. So I measured it. I think I'm going to make I'll make them at least, I'll cut the angle irons about 7 inches long and figure out some way to mount them in those slots. Well, I marked out a couple of 7-inch sections on the angle iron, and I don't know how well you can see it, drew out a 7-inch square. Comes right up to there. And I'm gonna drag out the little plasma torch, hook it up, and blast it. Well, I got it all set up and running. Let me put on the fancy cutting goggles and some gloves so I don't burn myself and all that fun stuff. I got the little Everlast Supercut set to about 45 amps, 43, 44. So let's see what we got here. Woo! I forgot to turn on the fuel extractor. Yeehaw. Yeah, come on. There we go. Too tight? Really need something? Okay, I need a little extra height there. There we go. That's got that nice. Don't look too terribly bad. That. Yep. sandwich now, right? That was getting right warm. Oop. Out there. Since this isn't really precision work, I'm not worried about being super square, but I'm just doing what I can. And this very nasty old metal, pretty rusted up. Come over on this side. Not perfect, but pretty decent cuts for being dirty, nasty, greasy, 10-gauge steel. And yeah, that's still the original consumables and everything on that torch. Well, as you can see, this is nicely rusted up material. The ground goes through the table. So it may not cut perfectly. I know plasma torches really like to have a nice, clean, solid ground right on the material, but me being the idiot that I am, I'm just going to let it fly. I am going to crank it up to about 50 amps though. So this is for the guy that told me that the Everlast Super Cut was a piece of garbage. I think he was talking out his rear end. So, in my 7-inch sections, approximately. And for cutting through rusted up metal, I think this little thing was a good investment. Alrighty, this is just to give you a general idea of what I want to do. First I'm gonna run a bead down, tack these together, tack the angles together, probably run a bead down the center or the back side of it, the bottom, whatever. Anyway, then weld it on this plate, and I'll drill 4 holes so I can bolt it down to the drill table. And then, just for grins, right in the center, I think I'll drill a maybe a 1/2 inch diameter hole, just so the small drill bits will have clearance to go down through there, and that should keep everything centered, or at least I'm hoping it will. That's the general idea. And just like I didn't bother to bore you with cleaning up the plasma cuts, I'm not going to bore you with me doing all the grinding. I figured I might try to bore you with my piss poor welding techniques, but that'll be later. Well, silly me, I forgot to turn on the camera, or I hit the wrong button, I don't know. Anyway, there's the welded up center bead. I went out to the drill press, and I don't know how well that pattern's going to show up. Yeah, it looks like it's there. Just a quick rough layout. It's not exactly the pattern I'm going to follow, but just a general idea of where I'll need to drill holes. And I got that still warm. Come on. There we go. Anyway, it'll be warm. Something like that. I get to drill a hole in the center. There we go. That's a little more like what it'll look like. So after I decide where I'm going to put everything, I'll clamp the angles down so that they sit flat. Right now they've got a slight contraction from the welding, so they're not sitting perfectly flat. But I'll let it cool a bit, just a little bit, and then flatten it out and see if I crack my welds. But that's where it's at so far.